This episode is brought to you by Pepsi Wild Cherry. Pepsi Wild Cherry is bursting with delicious cherry flavor and a sweet, crisp taste that gives you more to go wild for. Getting wild may look different these days, but whether it's opting for a solo Friday binge watch or a big night out, everyone can indulge in their wild side with Pepsi Wild Cherry. Also available in Zero Sugar. So grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Each week on the One Hit Thunder podcast, we welcome a special guest to come take a deep dive into a one-hit wonder artist with us. And together, we decide if that artist brought the one-hit thunder or was nothing more than a one-hit blunder. You can find One Hit Thunder anywhere that you listen to podcasts, so hit that subscribe button and join in on the fun each week.
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and everybody's gonna spread the holiday cheer. 'Cause it's Christmas. Oh, it's the best time of the year. Let's go fake reindeer.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt. Dude, let me just say, like, what we're discussing this week and next week, like, we are throwing two heavy hitters into the middle of the spring, to be completely honest. These are two things that I at least hold near and dear to my heart. Especially the what we're talking about today. I mean, the fact that we're doing this in the spring is insane to me, but I think we just need to get it out, man.
Well, here was the thing. I was trying to think of what I wanted to pick for us to talk about, because if people haven't figured it out, unless we have a guest, usually Dylan and I just alternate topics.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like, we've been doing a lot of movie and TV shows, and I was like, we haven't done a good album one in a hot minute.
Yeah, and I don't think you didn't want to subject me to another.
Not well. I'm saving Happy Christmas Volume 3 for like November, because
how many volumes of that were there?
5,
okay,
maybe.
See, we could have skipped Volume 3 and went.
Well, I want to go in order. I want to go in order of all of them, so we can track the progression. But Volume 3 is like that. I have a very December specific emotion tied to that album.
Yeah.
But one of the songs on this album originally appeared on that Happy Christmas album.
Yeah, so, not to like put in spoilers for what's about to come, but this record, as much as I love it, we are back in Matt Kelly's wheelhouse in terms of Christian rock, man.
Well, so here's what I'm going to say. So we're talking about Let It Snow Baby, Let It Reindeer by Relient K.
Yes.
And here's the thing about this album that I will say has a bit of a strike on it. All right. This is like barely an album. This is almost like a compilation album. Okay. And what I mean by that is that in 2003, so 5 years earlier, Relient K released the album Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Hand. Which is also a very funny album name. And
yes, it is.
10 of the tracks appear on that album. And at that point of Relient K's career, they were like a Blink-182 punk rock band, right? Okay. And then one track on this album appeared on the EP, the Apathetic EP that came out after when they were already kind of leaning in towards more of a power pop sound. And then you've got 2007, they're almost an indie rock band. So what I'm saying is that, like, when I say this barely feels like an album to me, is that it's like this almost incohesive collection of 3 very different eras of a band slammed into a single, like, 45-minute experience. And I think it's very jarring because I grew up on the Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Hand album. Yeah. So I was excited to hear the new songs, and there's no songs I really dislike on this album, but I feel like even if I didn't tell you, you would very easily be able to guess which songs were on the first
I don't
one.
know.
Oh,
I don't know. So should we tackle this the way we do the Happy Christmas stuff?
Yes. Yeah. Let's
Okay.
do them in order, but I'll tell you when it's like this one was on that album.
Okay.
And
All
I
right.
think you'll start to figure it out.
So a little bit of my history with Relient K is I don't really have one. I just discovered this album in high school, probably 2009, so about 2 years after they dropped the whole thing. I did not realize until I think last year when we talked about it off air that this is basically a compilation of past Christmas things that they've done. I like 99% of the album, and I can't even sit here and tell you which songs I don't like because I don't know. That this is an album where I put like 90% of the record on my Christmas playlist because I think it's mostly bangers.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be a short one in the sense of there's only maybe like 4 original songs.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to sit here. The opening track, we've got Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas,
It's
right?
a great cover.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be loved.
It's a great cover. There's really not, we're not going to sit here and analyze the lyrics to a song that honestly, you and I could do a whole episode just dedicated to covers of
and
this
I think
song.
we will.
Yeah,
we will.
no,
we talked about it before. This song came up when we did our South Park album. When I hear this song, I get teary-eyed.
Yeah,
Very rarely will I hear this song by a band or a group and not get teary-eyed. And
for
this
sure,
is right up there with it.
And I think that this does something that I really like with this one is that the guitar in the song, and this is the most like nitty gritty we're going to get with some of these songs, I think is just from this stance.
Yeah.
But I like that this song, the guitar is almost just for atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like it's about the vocals and like the percussion and bells and stuff in the background, and the guitar is just like an extra layer to everything, which I think is really, really cool.
For sure, man. For sure.
But it's far from the best song on the album. It's a very good cover, but
yeah, there's not much to say about it. It is a good cover. It's a song that, like you said, we could go into detail upon detail about, and we will, I guarantee. But I think covering Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is definitely a November, December episode.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
So next up, we have Sleigh Ride.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring ting tingling too.
Which I actually would probably rank this high up on my covers of Sleigh Ride.
I love this opening, dude.
Yeah, I think it starts off nice and slow, and then honestly, it gets into that kind of like jazzy.
That.
Yeah, I mean, I was sleeping on the Ronettes version of this for a really long time, and I think that is like the #1 version of Sleigh Ride.
Yeah,
but I think that this is in the conversation for top 3 versions of Sleigh Ride.
It's so good, and the lead singer's Matt, right?
Yeah, Matt Thiessen.
Matt's voice is so fucking good in the beginning. I love it. Just sing me to sleep.
I would argue, so I've been a Relient K fan since before their first album even came out.
Okay.
So I was listening to, when I was a young Christian child, there was the local Christian radio station, which primarily played like kind of the boring praise and worship music.
Yeah.
But then on Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to midnight was like they would just play like the latest from Tooth and Nail and stuff like that. So I would like stay up late on Saturday night to like hear like songs from bands that I didn't, either like new songs from bands that I loved or like songs from bands that I didn't know I loved yet. Yeah. And they played this song, which is cheesy as hell. And it makes sense because at the time Relient K, I believe, were like 16 or 17 years old. But it was their first single, and it was a song called Marilyn Manson Ate My Girlfriend. and it was this really like catchy kind of pop punk song. about like how they used to have this great Christian girlfriend, but then she started listening to Marilyn Manson, and now she's a Satanist.
Oh my god! It's got to be very tongue in cheek, right?
It very much so.
Okay,
And
I don't want them to be like, no, but for real.
No,
Marilyn
but they.
Manson,
I can't. I'm sure I would never fit into the shirt anyway, but I can't find the first Relient K shirt I ever bought was literally. It was a cartoon of like beautiful people era Marilyn Manson with a fork and a knife, run like kaiju size, chasing after cartoon versions of the band. And I was like,
gotta be a picture of this online.
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
If you Google Relient K Marilyn Manson ate my girlfriend, because I think that was like the single art for it.
Oh my god,
it's a great
love
picture,
it!
Right? It's
Holy
awesome.
shit! It is for those of you who are unaware. Marilyn Manson is drawn in a very Tim Burton-esque way.
It's a
so
fucking
good.
it's amazing. But like even looking at that, you're like, they're having fun with this.
Oh
like,
yeah,
this is absolutely them making fun of like, all
definitely.
that stuff.
Definitely.
But I was like, oh, this band's pretty cool. And they were opening, their first tour was opening for Five Iron Frenzy. So
oh, nice. So it's right up your fucking alley.
Right up my alley. So I went to that show. It was the best show I ever went to. But the only thing they had to sell for merch was a cassette tape that had the first minute of the first 3 songs on their album. And when we were driving home from the concert, it was like a 30-minute drive. The car that we were in only had a tape deck. And so the only thing we had to listen to was this demo cassette promoting their upcoming album. So we just heard the first minute of 3 different songs over and over and over again.
3-minute tape.
Yeah.
And
I was like, oh,
it's not even a full song.
Yep.
Oh.
But yeah, that first album is pretty good for what it is. Their second album, Anatomy of Tongue in Cheek, is where I think they really started to like become the band that people know. That has the song Sadie Hawkins Dance, which kind of became like a big closing song for them for a really long time. And then like after that, it was like, oh, Relient K is like a mainstream band. Like they put out Two Lefts Don't Make a Right, which had Chapstick and Chap Lips and Things Like Chemistry, which was like a very minor like MTV2 song. And then the next year was like Be My Escape, that was fucking everywhere.
Yeah, so like I cannot downplay this at all. My knowledge of Relient K literally does begin and end with this Christmas record.
Oh, dude.
I've seen like the album covers of the other records, but this band, much like Motion City Soundtrack, are just bands that like just kind of happened around me.
Yeah.
Like I never really super got into them. They were just bands that happened around me that I never listened to.
I think that you would really like the album by them.
Yeah.
You'll probably
I know Be My Escape. Everybody knows that jam.
You'll probably like Two Lefts Don't Make a Right, but 3 do. But the album that I think you'll love, and it's probably now my favorite of theirs, is kind of after they were famous. They put out an album called Forget and Not Slow Down, which was his divorce record. Ooh. But anyway, we get into the first original song on the album. Yeah. And this was an original written for this specific album, Merry Christmas and Here's to Many More. It's pretty. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. I like this song. It's got a strange tone almost.
It's got like the horns kick in. I really dig when that happens.
Yeah, the music, especially in the beginning, is like, it's very sad. It's very somber, and then the lyrics, like, they kind of pick up towards the end. I like the jam. It's a solid Christmas jam. This is not one I'll skip when it comes on the playlist. And like I said, 90% of this record's on the playlist, so it's definitely not one I'll skip.
So here's the thing. Before you go to the next song,
the
next song, Angels We Have Heard on High, is the first song from the Deck the Halls and Hurt Your Hand.
Okay. I mean that kicked a
it's definitely like 2 different eras of a band.
Yeah.
And I love this cover.
I like this cover too. And I like and maybe it's because I was able to come at it from a different angle of not being super familiar with the band and only knowing the cover art of their stuff. I like the balance and the kind of shocking turn of here's a punk song, here's a fucking indie song.
I think it wouldn't bother.
Here's a
literally,
solo
if
ballad. Like
I think if I didn't know, it wouldn't bother me at all.
It doesn't bother me at all, man. Like,
but it's
I
like
love
because I know, I can always like hear that it's two different pieces of.
And you
want
to know what's funny is I find myself listening to the slower, more ballady tracks.
They're more appropriate. They feel more appropriate, especially like, Angels We Have Heard on High is a Christmas song that you can listen to in the spring.
Yeah.
But like Merry
sure.
Christmas and Here's to Many More, you're like driving slow as the snow is coming down by your car window and you're just like taking in the beauty of the season. Like, I think it is like two sides of a coin. Still speeding by, still from the Deck the Halls album, we go right into Deck the Halls.
I mean, yeah, it is. I feel like some of those songs, and again, coming from a different angle, I feel like at least the first 3 songs on that Deck the Halls record, you could have almost made one song, like blended them all together.
For sure. So there is going to be a weird piece where there's at least 2, maybe even 3 songs that were originally on Deck the Halls that feel like they could have been on this, and at least 2 songs that were recorded exclusively for this that feel like they're trying to catch the Deck the Halls
feeling. Yeah.
But I think it's almost because it's not even like they re-record. They literally just took the original recordings. So if you look at even like the recording credits on stuff, like they have different drummers and bassists depending on which tracks it is, because they never even re-recorded it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other thing is it's like,
I mean, it's a good recording.
Oh, it's a good recording. I feel like Blink-182 is the perfect comparison. That is a
sure.
Blink-182 guitar riff kicking off Deck the Halls.
100%. 100%. This would be right up there with I Won't Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Now, I think the next track is my favorite of their Christmas covers, at least of the punky sound, is their 12 Days of Christmas.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves.
I think it's all right. I love the inclusion of the new chorus portion.
Yes.
Where it's like, what's a partridge? What's a pear tree?
Well,
I don't know, so please don't ask me. But I can bet those are terrible gifts to get. Dude, so good. Yeah, I like this jam. This is a good one. Dude,
And
all these songs are good. I can't approach this like a happy Christmas where I'm like, this one kind of sort.
Well, and I feel like I gotta stop saying I feel like. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that with this 12 Days of Christmas cover too, that they start just having fun the longer the song gets. So like there's the one part where it's just a piano and a choir singing it, and then there's like my favorite one, I'll be driving and I'll have this on, and when it gets to the one where it's like 2, 3, like it's like I can't not like clap along with it. Like it's so fucking fun. It is such a fun way to do 12 Days of Christmas.
This one is my favorite cover of 12 Days of Christmas. I think I've said it on here, is Taking Back Sunday's cover. Yeah. And this is right up there with it for sure. I do like the different weird takes.
I've told you that one of the episodes I want to eventually do is the 12 takes of Christmas, where we rank our 12 favorite 12 Days of Christmas covers.
That's gonna be such a weird one for me, and I'll tell you why later.
I feel like this one is definitely in the top 5 for sure, possibly even top 3 material. I think it's a very fun cover. Then we get into, this is also from Deck the Halls, but
which is so strange.
that's what I mean.
So strange.
Very crazy shift. But I mean, I guess we might as well just collect these as a single song.
Yeah.
It's the Silent Night Away in a Manger medley that bleeds immediately into I Celebrate the Day.
And I have literally said this before when we had, was it Joe when we were talking about?
Yes.
When we were talking about Christmas songs versus Christmas carols, and we were talking about covers from bands. This trio of songs coming from someone who I'm not exactly a religious person now.
But this one will bring this one brings the
God.
Jesus into Christmas in
100%, dude. 100%. But and all three of these songs blending together, it's much like you can't listen to one without the other. Like, I feel like I need to listen to both of them, and oh my God, it's so fucking good.
And I feel like I Celebrate the Day. It is, I would say, maybe like in the top 5 most overtly religious songs that Relient K's ever written. But goddamn, is it not fucking beautiful? Like
that
Matthew
piano.
Thiessen's wordplay and like melodies and that chorus, dude. That chorus. My mom covered it one time for Christmas Eve at church, and I just was like, this song's so pretty.
You could be my savior.
Yeah,
oh my God, dude. Fuck, it's so good.
And then we go into, this was the one outlier that I said came from the EP that came out after in Like a Lion Always Winter, about Narnia.
So I have such weird feelings about this song. And here's why. This song makes me sad. Because this song for me just symbolizes that Christmas is over. Like, that's how I listen to this song. Because this is the it's always winter but never Christmas.
Yeah. I bought I was die hard Relient K.
Yeah.
Relient K was for a really long time. I would say they're still probably in like my top 5 favorite bands of all time. But for a long time, they were my number 2 band behind Five Iron. And I think to this day, they're probably the band I've seen live more than any other band.
Real Big Fish is mine.
Yeah, because Relient K, probably the same reason for you with Real Big Fish, Relient K just played every single Christian festival. So it was like, if I was going to a Christian festival, they were going to be there. And it's kind of similar to like, those people who've seen Less Than Jake a million times because they went to like every Warped Tour. Like that was me with Relient K. So when I heard, they have a new EP, and the EP's fine. It's got like 3 original songs and then some acoustic covers of stuff from But I heard this song and I was like, this is so sad.
It makes me so sad. I have to skip it. If I'm listening to the album, I have to skip this song. And it's so weird that they put this in the middle of the fucking album. Because to me, like I said, like the lyrics to me symbolize that this shit's over. We're moving towards fucking February and it's just cold and dreary.
But it's not, to me, not the saddest song on this album.
Okay.
We'll get there. So here's one of the other weird outliers is I'm Getting Nuttin' for Christmas was recorded for this album, not from the Deck Year.
I hate it.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm getting nothing for Christmas, 'cause I ain't been nothing but bad. I put my bat on Johnny's head. Somebody snitched on me. I hit a frog in sister's bed.
It's my least favorite song.
I hate this fucking song. I hate this cover of the song. Like, it is not good.
I almost feel like one of the things that makes this cover not work for me is that the other punk rock songs feel authentic to a bunch of like 20-somethings playing punk music.
Yeah.
And this one feels like a bunch of 30-year-olds spending 1 minute and 40 seconds trying to relive their 20s real quick.
And it's such a weird song to choose.
Yeah.
To do as a 30-year-old trying to sing a punk version.
It's just a bad song.
I don't like the song. This song is up there with other Christmas novelty songs that I hate. This, Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer, like other shit like that. They need to start covering Christmas novelty songs that I love, like Dominic the Donkey and Craps for Christmas.
All right. So back to songs that were recorded for the last album. We've got We Wish You a Merry Christmas. I actually really like the additional verses in this song because like otherwise you just got like a 30-second song, right?
It is, yes, and it's I like the song, but that opening guitar is so weird.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that made me like Relient K versus a lot of other punk bands, I think, is represented in this song, which was that their songs always had, like, the opening of the song didn't necessarily depict what the rest of the song was going to be a lot of the time. Yeah. Right? And this song does that really well, where it's this, like, fast, like, punk rock opening verse, but then you just get to that solo guitar where he's doing the good tidings we bring to you and your kid. And then the full band kicks in, and it's like a completely different tempo.
Yep.
And I kind of dig that because
that's
hard to pull off.
I like this cover. I do like this cover a lot. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Moving forward, there is only one song moving forward that I keep on a constant rotation. And I want to know if you can guess it before we move forward.
That you keep on it for like all year round rotation?
Not all year round rotation, but like the rest of this album. Honestly, if I'm listening to this album through, this is kind of where I fall off, is that 11 song mark, because, you know, I have awful like attention shit. But there is one more song after this out of the 6 that are left that I still listen to, that I will keep on my playlist and I will keep coming back to.
So here's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Of these 6, there are only 2 that I will defend as really, truly great songs.
Okay.
And both of them are originals, not covers.
Okay.
Is one of yours one of the originals?
Yes, it is.
I think I know what it is.
Okay.
And I don't think it's this next song. I love Santa Claus is Thumbing to Town. I don't think it's Santa Claus is Thumbing to Town.
It is not.
So Santa Claus is Thumbing to Town, I believe we already talked about it because this was on Happy Christmas Volume 2?
Yep.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I think so.
We've said what we need to say. I think it's really catchy.
This song's right up there with, like, this could have also been on I Won't Be Home for Christmas.
Yes, exactly. We'll comb real quick past the shortest song on the album.
Yes.
Them just doing the Hallelujah chorus.
Yep.
Handel's Messiah.
It's fun.
This is the one I think you're talking about.
This is the one.
I am working on an idea for a movie.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to write a Christmas movie since I've heard the song I Hate Christmas Parties.
Oh, yeah.
Because this song screams being in a movie.
Yep.
Like,
hope it snows this week.
Oh my God. It's so
the
sad.
snowflake on your cheek would make this Christmas so wonderful.
Well, and this actually almost got me into Ben Folds. Like,
really?
I was like, wow. And I played it for someone, and they're like, this sounds like a Ben Folds song. And I was like, if that's what Ben Folds actually sounds like, because all I really knew was Brick, and I was like kind of lukewarm towards it.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me check out the rest of Ben Folds' stuff. And I became like a Ben Folds superfan because of it.
Okay. I guess I need to check out Ben Folds.
I'm going to reserve the rest of my thoughts for I Hate Christmas Parties for November when we get to Happy Christmas Volume 3, because it is the closer of Happy Christmas Volume 3.
Fucking good.
And a huge part of why I connect that album with a lot of emotions.
And I'm going to sing it at the end of that recording as well.
We'll end with a sing-along.
Hell yeah.
I don't hate Boxing Day, but I forget that this song exists until it comes onto my iPod at Christmas time.
Same.
It's a nice little pretty sad ballad. Feels like it would be a good closer, but there's still 2 more tracks.
Yep. Yes, there are 2 more tracks.
So Old Lang Syne is a little weird.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind?
It's like a re-record, but it's also what the original closer was on the first album.
Yeah.
but they had to re-record it because the closing message that their guitarist Matt gives was originally by their bassist who wasn't in the band anymore by this point.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So they redid it. But I think Old Lang Syne, it's fine. I think it's a pretty song. I love when I hear this song.
I
But
like it. I like the harmonies and everything.
That's what I was going to say. This song is one of the other things that I always felt like set Relient K apart is that they have such a huge Beach Boys influence in their vocals. And if you ever want to hear a fucking cover that is unbelievable, search Relient K's cover of Sloop John B. That is them. It's just a live recording of them in a studio, and it's all 5 members of the band singing and harmonizing while playing their instruments. And it's like them playing like banjos and stuff to like give it this weird, but it is like you watching, you're just like, man, harmonies are so underappreciated in punk music anymore. Like that to me, there was a period of time where that was like what made a band, was that they had great harmonies. And I think that might be a lost art a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of doo-woppy sound.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then, I mean, I love
King
Gold
Wenceslas.
King Wenceslas, but I really do not like this version.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen. Wenceslas went down on the feast of Stephen.
And it never really like picks up.
Nope.
It's like 3.5 minutes, and you just keep thinking maybe the band will kick in and save this cover.
It's almost like if this song was in the middle of the record, it would be like, okay, this is something that's kind of like slowing us down and giving us something different. But to close your record on it after already giving us an outro?
I would say that it only makes sense if it's not its own separate track, but it's like 5 minutes of silence, and you get
this is the stinger.
30 seconds to a minute of it. We don't need the whole 3.5 minute rendition.
Not
we
at
get
all.
it. You're doing like a Tiny Tim thing. It's cute.
Yep.
Move it along.
Agree.
Which
Agree,
is
man.
why I like this album, and I do like the new songs, but Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Hand, pretty much all bangers. And short and sweet, 25
honestly,
minutes in and out.
If you were to, let me look real quick. If you were to take Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Hand, and add, no, I think they're all there. Fuck it.
Like I was going to say,
that album's better.
Yeah, put that album out, and then all you need to do, give me a 3-4 song EP that had like their version of Sleigh Ride, the like Merry Christmas, and Here's the Many More. Like, just give me like those in like its own little separate like 3-song EP, and I'd be like, perfect, love it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you move over, have yourself a Merry Little Christmas and Sleigh Ride, I wouldn't need this record anymore. Yeah. I could just listen to Deck the Halls, Bruise Your Hand.
There you go. There you go.
Because everything else was just not my thing. Once you start singing stuff that like, I don't know, man. I'm not listening to Boxing Day. I'm not listening to Auld Lang Syne. Honestly, I feel like I only hear that cover because I forget to turn the album off. It's not bad. I like it. It's just like, okay, I like this, and they're talking and outroing me. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you the best version of Auld Lang Syne, because we will get to this album one day as well. The Bare Naked Ladies version of it on their album.
I know. We're gonna get there.
But you've heard that version?
I have heard that version.
Yes. When that whole band kicks in for the chorus, like I do feel something. Like it's like I'm like, is this what a patriot feels like when he hears? Because I do. Like I'm like I start putting my hands in my heart, and I'm like, wait, they're Canadian. This is like,
oh my god.
All right. Well,
yeah, that's it, man. We did it. Relient K.
Let it snow, baby.
Let it rain, deer.
Now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Have a happy holly, have a great holly, have a merry happy holiday.
It is mind-blowing.
And heartbreaking.
How many original scripts are written every year but are never made?
So we seek out these scripts and bring them to life with full audio production and professional actors.
Check us out at Undiscovered Scripts,
Movies made of paper.
wherever you get your podcasts.
Free!
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.